as a part of Appium parallel testing with Grid4, and this is a part 3. In part 3 we are going to discuss about the scripting and parallel execution on multiple devices using Appium Grid4. Okay, so before continuing with the part 3, in part 2 we have done the setup for Appium Grid4, and here I have explain the step-by-step detail how to configure the node with the capabilities for the Android devices. Okay, in this case we are created the capabilities for the considering to Android emulators here. So we have gone through these steps here. So in part 3 we will see how you can able to use that particular node tom-l file and how we can able to do the parallel execution. So before that one, we had to cover 3 topics here. That is the script setup for grid execution. So where exactly the changes we need to perform in our existing script. Okay. The second one is creating or using the TestNG XML for parallel testing. And third one is executing the parallel execution on our mobile devices. So in this case we are using 2 Android emulator here. So already I started the 2 Android emulators here. Okay, and we run the command adb devices. Okay, to get the UDID of these 2 Android devices. So we have emulator -5554 and emulator -5556. Okay, the first step, so for execution, parallel execution, first step is to we have to register the grid with the node. Okay, so we have saved our jar file under the parallel testing folder. Okay, we'll open this folder in the system explorer here. Okay, this is a path of the jar file here. Okay, so in the path, okay, just click on here and just type cmd command prompt. Okay, here we need to register the grid. Okay, before registering the grid with the node, we will see what node we have created, what type of node we created, and just we go through the node. Okay, so that we can understand that one. Okay, this node we have created step by step in the part 2. Okay, so this is a node we created here. So click on this node, which is the type of tom-l. Okay, open with, so just click on open. Okay, okay, here I told that we have 4 parts: the server, node, and relay, and we have using the local host for that one, and we had to see the configs here. So configs, here we have given the 2 lines. That is the first, it create 2 sessions here. Okay, 1 session for this one and 1 session for this one, because we are doing the parallel execution on 2 Android devices. That is the emulator here. So we need to have to create the 2 sessions. Okay, this is 1 session and this is 1 session. And we have given the capabilities for each session. Okay, so this is recap here. Already I have discussed about in part 2. Okay, but before running the script, we should know what exactly we have done the settings in the node. Okay, so here we have 2 sessions. For each session we have the set of capabilities we have created here. So if you see the capabilities, browser name Chrome, platform name Android, and this is important, appium::udid emulator 5554. This is for 1 session, and second session we have the emulator -5556. So we have configured the node with these capabilities here. Okay, so when you register the grid, okay, as per this node, it create the 2 sessions for each capabilities here. Okay, set of capabilities here. Okay, so this is the all about the node. Okay, and now we'll close this one, and now we need to start the registration of the grid. Okay, so what's command we need to use? That is a java -jar. So before that one we need to have we should be in the folder where exactly the jar file is installed here. Okay, otherwise if you use any other folder, just we need to provide the path with the jar file name. Okay, but here now currently we are in the folder where exactly our jar file is installed. Okay, directly in that case we had to use java-jar, and we need to provide the name of the jar file here. The name of the jar file for grid is selenium-server- the version here. So we are using the 4.3.0.jar. Here we are using standalone. Mode is standalone mode. Okay, means both grid and node will start together here, standalone. Okay, and after standalone we need to give the space --config argument, and here we need to provide the name of the node file which is in our toml format here. So we created the node.toml. So in part 2 we created the node, right? Each step we went. Okay, in now also we have seen the, so once again I will show you here. So here this is a node which is in a toml format, okay, which contains the session details, and for each session we have the set of capabilities here. Okay, this is very important here when you are doing the parallel execution on Android with 2 emulators, or it may be real-time device also. Okay, and we are running on local host. Okay, let's close this one. So our command is ready. Yeah, so before starting this one, we need to understand, before registering the grid, we need to start the Appium server. Already I explained why we need to do like this. So once I show the architecture, see, this is the architecture of the Appium with the Grid4. Okay, so we are registering the grid with the node, relay node, and the node here, where we have the capabilities here. So relay node, we have given the local host UI number, local host IP address and port also. Okay, so before that one we need to start the Appium server, so that our relay node will communicate with the Appium server. Okay, so we need to start the Appium server, and in this case we are using local host here. If we not start the Appium server, it will give the error. Okay, so what I will do, I will show the error also, bit better, we will show the error. Okay, so I want to display the error first. Okay, because I am not starting the Appium server. How the error means, what type of error it is throw. Okay, so click on enter. Yeah, java-jar. Okay, it says to use one run. Yeah, save standalone node. Just a minute, clear this one, and java-jar. Okay, this is the command we have given, and node config node toml. Okay, this is the command we have given. Once again we run it. Started even? No. Okay, yeah, node toml here. Now once again we run it here, we'll see. Yeah, see, actually we are given wrong here. Instead of standalone, see, this is a problem with the typo. The typo here. Instead of N, I have given R. Okay, good. Okay, so instead of, see, you can see here, instead of standalone R, I have given N here. That's why it's giving error message. Okay, so what we will do, we'll run it here. So we are registering the grid now with the node, but it will throw error message here. See, it says error checking the service status localhost 4723 WD host status. Okay, it says connection refused. Why it is like that? Because the Appium server is not there. If you see this architecture, the Appium server is there, should be there to receive the request and to send the request and receive the response. Okay, this part is missing in this architecture, so that's why it is giving error message. Okay, saying the details of the host Okay, so the details of the host. Okay, you see here the log here. It says http colon slash localhost 4723 wd hub status. It says connection refused. Okay, so to overcome this thing, we need to start the Appium server. Okay, so clear this one. So we start the Appium server by using the GUI, or you can start the by command prompt. You can use Appium space -a 0 dot. I'll show that one also. So the command prompt, we can start Appium space -a 0.0.0, okay, -p 4723. You can start like this also, okay, through the command prompt. Here I have started the Appium server to the GUI. So we are given the host, okay, and the 4723 is a port. Okay, so Appium server is started. Now we'll go back here and try to register once again. So previously it has given the error message, right? Now we have to give it here. Okay, java-jar, the name of the jar file, standalone. Okay, and config, we are using the, for config node we are using node.toml file. Click on enter. Now you can see it will add the node. So if you observe the log here, it says added the node, and this is the ID of that one. And if on this link, control click, if you see it open in the Chrome. See Chrome, it says we have the studio type. Okay, this is the node. Okay, and we had two studio type. That is the capable session. Two sessions we have. Okay, I'll go through this one here. So here if we see and we open the, so we compare the toml file of node and the log which generated when you are registering the grid and the URL we have opened here. See, step by step we understand. Just a minute. Yeah, this one and this log also I want. Okay, this log. So all three we are keeping here so that we can understand the background here. Yes, and this one and this one. So see, if we check this one, see here I said two sessions of these capabilities. Okay, here it says, see, flat browser name, platform name, Appium UDID and platform version. If you see here, when we started the grid, when you register the grid, it has added the mapping capabilities here. Okay, so it added platform version 13, Appium UDID emulator 5554, browser Chrome, platform Android. So whatever the capabilities we have mentioned under the node.toml file, based upon that one, it has created the node. Okay, so we have created two sessions. It has created two mapping capabilities. Okay, so we have seen here. Okay, and the same thing we can check it here. So in stereo type, okay, under the browser, you will see here, if you mouse over here, we say Android Chrome. Okay, so that is the browser name Chrome, platform name is the Android. Okay, and we have mentioned the UDID, right? You see here UDID, see here, see mouse over here, emulator 5554. Okay, and one more stereo type is the emulator 5556. Okay, so whatever mentioned in the node.tom l file, when you register the grid, the same, the grid has created the node based upon this capability. And when you see this URL, right, here also we have mentioned created the stereotypes of two. Okay, whatever mentioned the capabilities here. Okay, so this is done. Now we have the two emulators and we have registered the grid. Okay, and next one is that we need to do the setup for the grid execution. So for that one, I open the Eclipse. So we had to identify two scripts to demonstrate that one. So here I have created a separate package, naming the package as ParallelTesting, and I need to identify two scripts here. So I will take this test4, which is related to the API demos app. Okay, so copy this one, copy this script here, copy and paste it in the parallel testing package. So we got one script here, and one more script we will choose from the gestures here. The gestures, I want flip area demo. Copy this one and paste it in the parallel testing. Because I don't want to disturb these two scripts because we are related to other coding part here. Okay, so I do not want to disturb that scripts. Okay, and we have the two scripts here. So we name this, change the name to avoid the confusion. So I name this one test4 as sample test 1. Okay, so just let's rename the file there. Yes, and same thing we need to do for this script also. Sample test 2. For demo purpose, I am using these two scripts for sample. Okay, so we created a sample test 1 and sample test 2. So here we need to do some changes to our existing script in this case. Okay, otherwise if we are using the config file for the capabilities, directly you can change there. Okay, so here we are just hard coding the capabilities in this case. So we need to change few things here. Okay, see, I want to run this sample test 1 in this emulator. Okay, so I had to mention the emulator 5.4, the first emulator, and this is the first change. Okay, we are using set UDID, and here also we need to change that one. Instead of set device name caput, I had to use set UDID, and we copy from this one. So we have two emulators here. Just copy this one and just give this name here. So this is the first change under the capabilities here. Just copy properly. Yes. So this is the first change, okay, under the capabilities here, because I'm mentioning that this sample test should run in the emulator 1, that is the emulator 5.4, and the sample test we need to run on the emulator 5.6 here. Okay, because we had two sessions created for each emulator. Okay, and the one more change we need to perform here is the URL. Instead of this localhost URL, we need to give the grid URL here. So go back here. So this is a grid URL. Copy this URL. That's it. Only this change we need to do here. Change the URL here, and here also we need to change the URL. Click on save. Okay. So the two changes we need to perform. One is the capabilities. So I had to mention the UDID. So where exactly this particular script has to execute. Okay. And one more is the URL we need to change. Okay. So we are given the grid URL here. Okay. So that only two changes we need to do. Suppose in your framework, so here I am hard coding here for each and every test here. But normally when you are using a framework, we used to update this data in our setup data, right? Before starting our execution, we used to get the data from the setup data. It may be Excel file or it's a JSON file. Okay, then we need to update here so that it will affect all the scripts here. Okay, both for the capabilities and these values also. Okay, so in this case we are just hard coding that one. Okay, so we are added the capability set UDID emulator 5.4 and here 5.6. So this script will run in this emulator, and second will run in this emulator. So this is the name of this emulators here, and we are given the IP address. We have changed the IP address. We are given the grid IP address here. Okay, so both tests are ready, and the second is that to create a XML. Okay, TestNG XML to run the parallel. So already I created the TestNG parallel by using Grid4. So this is a XML I am using here. So I am giving the package name with the class names here. Okay, so we run now the execution part. Okay, so what we'll do, this is not needed. Okay, this is, so I want to see the execution. I want to explain process also. So this is the one we need to start, and so it will generate the logs here. Okay, it will generate the logs, and I want to see the sessions also. If we start the sessions, it will create the 2 sessions here. So we'll run this one also. We keep it here, and then we get it the open this too. See, in this one, the first script has to execute. In this one, the second script has to execute, both at same time. Okay. So select this one and run as TestNG suite. Okay. If we see this one, see it says session 1. Session 1. See it has session 1, and back you see the logs here, which is in the Appium server. So it started the session 1 based upon the capabilities. Just wait for some time so that the execution start. So if we see the logs, it is communicating with the emulators there. So we have created 2 sessions here. You see the sessions 2. So each session has its own capability. We do the basic setup. Yeah, see, the second script I started in the emulator 256. Okay, one is failed. Why? Okay, the problem with the script here. Why it is failed? Emulator 5.4. Okay, and we are given properly here. Test 1. Okay. Here we have the app here, API demos, API demos app here. So once again we run it here. So it has executed only in one emulator. Okay. So yeah, emulator, yeah, so everything is fine. Okay, sample test one, sample test one here. Okay, once again we run it here. Yes, emulator W54. This is emulator W56. UDID. Yeah, so once again we run it. It has created two sessions here. So yes, session it has created here. Session two sessions it has created. Here we have created two sessions based upon the capabilities. Just wait, our script will trigger and run on the simulator. It has created two sessions here. Now our script has to execute on respective emulators here. See the logs. So it is doing the basic setup. Let's wait for a few more seconds so that it establish the communication with these emulators here. See, all depends upon the processor speed also. This is all related to the emulator W54. Still the script is running. The APM server. Just wait for a few more seconds. Because still the settings are going on. Yes, it has run the script in the test. Sample test 2 script is running here. Okay, I think it is running in the sample test 2 script, and I think some problem with the sample test 1. Okay, so wait, just wait, the session has to be killed. So one session is done. So one more session is there. Okay, we kill this session here. Okay, yes, yeah. So once again, what we'll do, we'll just check what's the problem with the sample test one. Okay, yeah, it's true. Everything is fine. So what we'll do, once again, we'll start a registration of this grid. Clear this one and say yes, node. Okay. So once again, we're starting the grid. Okay, the grid is added here. So we'll do the testing once again. Run as to kill this one. Session 1 is created, and session 2 it has to create. It has 2 sessions it has created. So in this emulator, API demos, yeah, now it started. Some problem with the script. Okay, see, now we have 2 sessions which is running on both emulators here. So now we are doing the parallel execution here. So we are performing sample test 1 on this emulator. There is the emulator -554, and on this emulator we are performing the organic bazaar functionality here, and this is the emulator 556 here. So this is how we can able to achieve the parallel execution by using Grid4. So you see we had 2 sessions here with each stereotype. Okay, this is the capabilities of each stereotype. So if you face the problem as you see here, right, sometimes it not execute on both. Okay, so what you do, just kill that session, okay, of grid, and just restart the grid once again. Okay, you have seen the example here, right? Just restart the grid registration once again, it execute. Okay, yes, both, yeah, both are fast. Okay, this is how we can able to execute parallel execution on both Android devices by using Grid4. Okay, so we have gone through the changes. What are the changes we need to perform from the scripting perspective, and we have seen what are the capabilities we need to add in the node. Okay, so these are the things we need to update in the script and in the node. Okay, so if you like this video, please click on like button, subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.